Alright, howdy. So we're currently on step 6, almost halfway. So let's start with getting all the parts together. So we'll need the 2 drive block assemblies. We'll need the chassis from step 4. We'll need this guy, which is the supportive block on the end of the y-axis. We'll need this smaller block, which is the supporter block on the end of the x-axis. So, and we'll also need 2 long metal rods, and then 2 out of the 4, well, they're not the shortest, but out of the ones that you should have left, 2 of the short metal rods out of the 4. The 4 should be the exact same length. So if the X is the shorter rod, and so the first step in this is to put these right in. If they're a little bit snug, you can use maybe a handle from a tool or something like that to help push. It should be to where you can just push them in by hand, but you never know. There can be some variation. Now, after you do those guys, take the longer assembly, thread it on. So again, get the guide rod started, and just screw by hand. And then one little trick is pull it against the, so basically, so screw it in until it's about halfway before you start hitting the next set of threads, and then push a little bit to flex the ribs of the backlash compensation, and then keep going. That's it. That should set you up for a really nice tension and backlash mechanism, which will help basically keep it from flexing too much. If you just thread it straight through, there may not be enough support, and you might see a little bit of basically loss in distance on short moves. And then carefully, in this orientation, like so, carefully work this block on. Now this may take a little bit of force. It's purposely snug. Just push it in until it lines up with the tabs in the chassis wall. And that should be it. Okay, and then finish that assembly out. Put 2 screws right here, just the standard screws. And again, once you feel it's snug, don't over tighten. This is plastic, it will wear out. And you can wear out metal even if you over tighten metal. But just have to know your limits. Okay. And then we're going to repeat the same thing on the other axis. So 2 rods. Now, when you're inserting these rods, be really careful of the one that has the limit switch near it. Don't whack the limit plunger too hard inadvertently. This one's a little bit snugger, more snug, whatever. Okay, and then, so get your rods in. You've got your drive block, the part with the cutout and the tab face in. And then just get your rods started. So slide your screw in. This goes underneath. So, might want to make sure that. Sorry. Yeah, this should go underneath. So again, tension up your anti-backlash and then drive it forward. Then this is your supportive block, goes in that orientation, like so. So just start feeding it onto the rods, and then you'll probably need to press. It's easier to kind of press against, if you push against the motor. And then just push it deep enough where the tabs easily fit into the tabs here on the chassis. And then put 2 more screws here and here. Again, just snug it in. You don't need to keep going too far past the when it starts having real resistance. So just maybe like a quarter turn past where you feel it having you. That's it for that one. Okay, so we put the drive blocks in place, we put the screws in, and the supportive blocks right here, and that's it. Be sure when you're putting them on, thread the drive rod halfway in, and then basically pull it back this way so that it provides tension against the anti-backlash mechanism so that you get your best result. All right, and on to step 7.